Flying is one of the fastest and most efficient ways to reach very faraway destinations. Planes take us across the sky, through the clouds, and connect the world in a matter of hours. However, have we ever thought about something like, what if this plane has a problem? What if there is a terrible accident? Welcome back to Crash Viz. In this video I will share a story about a real accident or real incident of a plane. To listen. Japan Airlines, Flight 123. August 12, 1985. In the afternoon, towards a bright evening in Haneda International Airport in Tokyo, Japan. Japan Airlines Flight 123 is preparing for takeoff, towards their destination which is Osaka. The flight will carry 509 passengers and 15 crew members, a total of 524 people on board the plane. One of the passengers on the flight is Kyo Sakamoto, a Japanese actor and singer. The passengers aboard the flight were primarily traveling due to the Obon holiday, engaging in customary visits to hometowns, family gatherings, or vacations. The flight's timing during this peak travel season contributed to its full occupancy and the varied backgrounds of its passengers. In the cockpit, the captain is 49 years old Masami Takahama. He was a veteran pilot, having logged about 12,423 flight hours. The first officer, 39 years old Yutaka Sasaki, was in training for promotion to captain and flew Flight 123 as one of his final training flights, acting as captain. He had logged about 3,963 flight hours. In addition to that, in the cockpit, there was also a flight engineer, 46 years old Hiroshi Fukuda. He was a veteran flight engineer who had logged about 9,831 flight hours. The aircraft used in the flight was a Boeing 747-146SR, the jumbo jet aircraft, short-range variant of the 747-100, designed specifically for domestic flights in Japan. The aircraft has registration JA8119, and the aircraft was 11 years old at that time. At 6:04 p.m., the 747 was pushing back from Gate 18 at Tokyo Haneda Airport and would start its flight to Osaka. At 6:12 p.m., Flight 123 took off from runway 15 left and started to leave the Tokyo Haneda Airport, bound for Osaka Itami Airport. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft began its ascent toward cruising altitude. Flight 123 was flying from Tokyo, the capital of Japan, which is in the Kanto region, and bound for Osaka, a city in the Kansai region. The flight was smooth and normal, and remained on its predetermined flight path. The cabin seemed very quiet, and the flight was stable, without any irregularities. Approximately 12 minutes into the flight, at cruising altitude of 24,000 feet, the aircraft suffered an explosive decompression due to unknown reasons. This caused the plane to shake violently and made all passengers panic. Oxygen masks were lowered and passengers were asked to wear them. In the cockpit, Captain Takahama declared an emergency and requested to return to Haneda Airport. Air traffic control approved a right-hand turn toward Oshima. The crew struggled to control the aircraft, which entered a fugoid oscillation, alternating climbs and descents, due to the loss of hydraulic systems. They attempted to stabilize the aircraft using engine thrust alone. At that time, Captain Takahama was asked by the air traffic controller if they wanted to be diverted to Yokota Air Base, a United States air base in Japan. But Captain Takahama said no, and would continue to try to return to Haneda Airport. The pilots managed to dampen the oscillations slightly by adjusting engine power and lowering the landing gear. However, the aircraft continued to lose altitude and drifted off course. Despite the crew's efforts, the aircraft's control deteriorated further. The plane entered a steep bank and began an uncontrollable descent. The crew's last communications indicated their awareness of the dire situation. At 6:56 p.m., the plane crashed into Mount Takamagahara in Gunma Prefecture, 100 kilometers from Tokyo. The right wing of the plane hit the edge of the first mountain, then was thrown into the second mountain, then hit the ground of the mountain and finally exploded. The impact and fire destroyed the aircraft. Rescue operations were significantly delayed. A U.S. Air Force C-130 crew spotted the crash site 20 minutes after impact and relayed the location. However, Japanese authorities declined immediate assistance. A Japan Self-Defense Forces helicopter later located the wreckage but due to poor visibility and challenging terrain, could not land. Ground rescue teams were not dispatched until the following morning. Medical personnel later determined that some victims had survived the initial crash and succumbed to injuries or exposure overnight, suggesting that a swifter response might have saved additional lives. In this horrific accident, only 4 people survived, and all the survivors are female. 520 others have died due to the accident, including Q Sakamoto, who also became one of the victims who died in the accident. At that time, there was a viral photo, which was taken by someone, and it was allegedly a Japan Airlines Flight 123. The photo showed a Boeing 747 which was flying without its tail. Additionally, the tail of Flight 123 was not found at the crash site but was found in Sagami Bay, southwest of Tokyo, about 80 miles southeast of the crash site. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Committee concluded that the accident was caused by the aircraft tail breaking away from the aircraft while the aircraft was in flight. This was due to an improper repair, carried out by Boeing engineers in 1978 after a tail strike incident. Rather than following Boeing's approved repair method, the engineers used 2 splice plates aligned with the stress crack, compromising the structural integrity of the bulkhead. Over time, this led to metal fatigue and eventual failure of the rear pressure bulkhead, resulting in explosive decompression and loss of control. The disaster severely affected Japan Airlines' reputation. Domestic passenger numbers dropped by up to 25% in the months following the crash. In response, Japan Airlines' president Yasumoto Takagi resigned. Additionally, 2 employees involved in the aircraft's maintenance committed suicide, reflecting the deep sense of responsibility and cultural implications of the tragedy. The crash of Japan Airlines Flight 123 remains the deadliest single aircraft accident in aviation history and the worst aviation disaster in Japan. It led to significant changes in aircraft maintenance procedures and safety regulations worldwide. The tragedy is also remembered for the harrowing final moments captured by passengers and the delayed rescue efforts that followed. Thank you for watching this video. You can give a like to this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as a form of your support for the development of this channel. If you want to request, you can comment below, and I promise to make the video. Thank you and see you at next video.